Welcome to Voodu Warlock 2023, episode 14. In this episode, I am level 14. Let's take a look at where things are. I actually worked ahead a bit and did Lordsmarch 2 when I was still 12 or 13. And I decided I wasn't going to do the Demon Queen flaggers for this episode. I decided I would do something a little bit newer. Peril of the Planar Eyes. I do have a couple of walkthroughs for 2 of the quests, but other than the first looks, I don't have videos for the others. So we're going to do those 4 quests this episode. So since the last episode, I did Chains of Flame, Chamber of Rayum. These others I had done already. And after this one, I'm just probably going to start working ahead. The next episode will be Giant Hole Walk-Ups. Get some Argonescent Favor. I don't think this is going to level me. I still need 3 bubbles. I only have 4 quests here, so I don't think I can do it. But I've really been focusing on picking up Favor that I can get while working through Heroics. I already got up to Coin Lord Finishing School. That's 400 Favor. It's as far as I need to go there. It gives me +2 Diplomacy and Intimidate. You know, if you're not going for end game play, the +2 Intimidate is not something you need to go out of your way for, unless you want to. But clearly I was able to get the 400 Favor by level 14. All right, let's take a look at the gear. Everything that I'm wearing is the same except for the shield. I do have the level 14 version of Fanion. This is the contemporary version. I showed you a legacy version before. So this is the version you can get now, and you can get that with a complete Tome or Shield of Legends turn in Upper Necropolis. The only difference between this one and the previous one I showed you, this one is level 14 and has the purple slot, which I have Diamond of Vitality 20 in there. You can get a Diamond of Vitality 20 augment. That's a level 11 augment from the same place in Upper Necropolis for the 20 Shreds of Tapestry turn in. There's a Diamond of Vitality on that list. I also have the level 14 elite version of the Jeweled Cloak. This is a nice addition to your spell absorption repertoire. Can't emphasize enough that spell absorption is very important. I recommend 3 pieces of spell absorption at endgame, and my personal favorites are the Epic Elite Jeweled Cloak, the Mage Star, and the Pale Lavender Unestone. I already have the Pale Lavender. We talked about that in an earlier episode, but just wanted to mention the others, and I'll be showing those when we get to that level. Okay, for enhancements, I think I picked up another tier of Wand and Scroll Mastery since the last episode. I'm not sure what else is new since the last episode. It's been a few days since I made it. But my next priority is to work up to Core 4 Tainted Scholar, because that's going to add Death Ward to my spellbook. And once I do that, I can replace this item, which I'm lazily using to absorb negative energy spells. Like I said, it's probably more optimal to use the Death Ward clicky, but I'm lazy. You can do whatever you like. But once I add Death Ward to my spellbook, I won't need the necklace, and I'll be replacing that with something better. No change on the Reaper points, but next level we'll be picking up Core 3s, and then at 17 we'll be picking up Tier 3 up here. No ability score this level, but it's Constitution all the way. And no feats this level. So let's get on to the quests. I really like this quest pack. I thought it was a really good one. I really liked the variety of these quests. They were all 4 very different flavored quests. Feel like they were coded by different people. I really liked revisiting some of the earlier themes, like we fight the Sulatar Drow here, and we haven't fought the Sulatar Drow, you know, since like Searing Heights or whatever. And we get to revisit Menectarin in Seizing the Dawn. That's really cool. I Know Whodunnit's kind of an interest, you know, a neat, you know, kind of a different, you know, whodunit kind of a quest. So here, this is just your Simon Says puzzle. You just got to repeat the sequence. It's a sequence of 3 lights, then 4 lights, then 5 lights. Done. I can't remember where the trap box is for this, but it's around here somewhere. And we need to get this lever here. And we'll need to pull this lever to advance. You can use Sleet Storm to extinguish firewalls since we have freedom of movement. It's not going to hamper our movement. Or I could have used Gust of Wind to blow out the firewall either way. But the nice thing about Sleet Storm is it persists, so any other firewalls that a mob attempts to cast in this area of effect will immediately be extinguished. Right, so we got some drow here. This is a group that spawns after you do that previous room, but there are some drow ahead in the next room, in that shrine room, that you don't need to aggro. You can just keep moving. If you don't need the shrine, no need to fight them. Just in case you're super new, the Lost Souls only drop in Reaper mode, and they just give you spell points. Can't remember if I said that in an earlier episode. And they persist for maybe a couple of minutes-ish. There's an optional down there if you want to. Oops, I did not pull the lever in that room back there, did I? So bad about that kind of stuff. Pull that lever up there. I swear I pulled it. Was even thinking about it. I guess I got distracted by the chest or something. Okay, well, at least now you know what that lever's for. It's funny, I was thinking that those 2 groups of Sulatar wouldn't have spawned unless both the levers were pulled, but we just found out that they are there. Apparently, it's fighting the Ifrit that triggers those mobs to spawn. Didn't know that. And clearly pulling those 2 levers caused this group of mobs to spawn. This pack has been out for, I think, a little over a year or so. Colorful quest, and I really like that about it. Like bold, nice looking colors. You know, not washed out like Feywild, for example, or even Giant Hold. As much as I love Giant Hold, it's pretty overwhelming with the like purple and magenta. Now, you know, when I do this one like on High Reaper endgame, I see a lot of people dying here because this water is electrified and it's pretty deadly. and you got like a low ceiling here. It's easy to like jump into it, and you know, wonky physics sends you flying. So one of the things you can do when you're coming here, if it helps, is you can pull that group of mobs to you here, right? And just fight them over here so you're not, you know, everybody's not around the water. And, you know, and trying to, you know, do a fight while also trying to stay out of the water. This way you just bring them over here, where it's a little safer, you have better footing. And that guy just wants to stay on the water, so we'll use Focus Blast. If there was multiples, I would use Chain Shape. But it's just one, so Focus Blast is actually higher DPS than Chain Shape for single target. Lots of elemental traps, so try to avoid those. Those guys got locked out by the barrier, nice. But the barrier will come down. Kill the boss, which apparently... Oh, okay, I thought maybe it wasn't going to spawn because the guys outside weren't killed. But there we go. Why do I not have freedom movement boots on? Why am I sliding on this ice? I don't know. Pick up the eye to finish it. Some nice caster sticks that come from this chain. Like here's an example. One fusible scepter of corrosion is one for every spell power. It's got your equipment, which is like your main spell power type, and it's got the insightful type for it too, and then it's got the lore, and this one's got like conjuration focus, mythic 2, noise. So that would be an example, like if you wanted to get like the one that's for radiance or for sonic, that would certainly be a good one to use at this level range. You know, I talked about how, you know, you can use a weapon that has like Vorpal or something on it, or if you wanted to use a caster stick instead, if it makes more sense for your gear set, that's fine too, and that would be a good example of a caster stick. That was nice for this level. All right, we're gonna do I Know Whodunnit next. Now, I'm not the greatest at explaining all the ins and outs of this quest, so I'll just explain the gist of it. This is basically like a little mystery to solve. You've got the usual suspects here. One of these four folk here are the guilty party. Krob Bix is your contact. And so the rest of these people, we're just going to, if you want to, you know, if you like the role-playing aspect of it, you can read through all their dialogue. But, you know, you can just click like, you've been so helpful. Blah, 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 blah. All right, so what we're going to be doing here is looking for clues. And the clues are just little sparklies. And that can be anything from an NPC to a note on the ground to some, like, you know, bloody feathers or whatever. Like, see, this guy's sparkling. Okay, you just talk to him, and then it's going to start marking off. Now I have, you know, gather evidence against Bernadotte, gather evidence against Aethor, Clarissa, Danis, and as soon as you get down to only one left, you can confront that boss, and they're always in static locations. Like Clarissa, I think it is, she's like over in her apartment somewhere around here. Here's a ledger that's sparkling, so I know that's a clue. That was something against Danis. Danis is over here in the temple, and I know that there can be clues in the temples. So I just want to show you, like, well, from the start, there was another way you could go. This is not a linear quest. It's like a big loop, okay? And some people like to go the other way. I like to go this way first, to go to that, like, courtyard where the mine shaft is, because you can actually find a whole bunch of clues without fighting anything. In fact, earlier today, I did this on Legendary Reaper, and we found all the clues we need to confront the guilty person without fighting anything, and all we had to do was the end fight. So up here, you've got a bunch of raptors, but they'll actually be friendly towards you as soon as you kill the trainer guy. So I'm just going to focus on the trainer. Who... Was I lagging there for a minute? It looked like he wasn't taking any damage. Okay, now all the raptors are friendly, and later on, there might be aggressive mobs here, and those raptors will actually attack them. There'll be a fight in there. There's a Prince reference, as in the artist formerly known as. When you go in there, if you look at the dialogue, it says, "Dearly beloved, we are gathered here today to celebrate this thing called life," which is the beginning lyrics to Let's Go Crazy. And this quest pack came out on the 5-year anniversary of Prince's death. So a little nod to Prince in this one. So I'm just looking around because I know that clues can be like out there and stuff. So I'm just looking for sparklies throughout this area before I leave. See, here's a diary right here. This is exactly what I was looking for. Okay, so only 2 things left for Danis. We're getting pretty close. Now, my understanding of this quest is that there can be 2 of the suspects that you can confront, and one of them won't necessarily be the one who did it, who took the eye that you're looking for. This is Peril of the Planar Eyes. We're looking for the Planar Eyes that were stolen. Okay. Bernadotte's another one of the suspects, so we're going to look around for clues. A lot of times these union workers are clues. You gotta look around for sparklies. So, by the way, one of the things I didn't like about this quest is the ending wasn't always obvious where it was. So, like, if it's Bernadotte, after you kill her, it's not over. It's not over until you click the eye, and the eye is actually located on the other side of a secret passage here. So if you don't have... I'm using True Seeing to find it, which you can do during Heroics, but in Legendary, True Seeing won't find it. So you don't have somebody who can spot or search the secret passage. Then you got to go all the way around to get to the end. And if you didn't know better, you'd be wondering, like, how in the hell do you finish this quest? All right, so this disgruntled worker is a clue. And that was evidence against Danis. So we're down to 1 thing left for Danis. That means we can go confront Danis. And he is the celestial fella in the temple that we were just in a minute ago. So I'm going to go there. And Aethor is down in the Kobold tunnels. There could be lots of clues down there. And Clarissa, like I said, is in an apartment, which is... Clarissa's apartment is... where is it? That's where the Prince thing... There it is right there. So she would be back there. There's like there might be a secret passage there. I think it might only be there if she did it. Or if she's one of the suspects that you can confront. Okay, so we're about to find... It might not be Danis. Like I said, you can confront him when you have 3 pieces of evidence when you're down to only 1 left. And then all of his minions are going to fight you. We're going to know if it was him or not if he drops a key. We should just use chain shape because it would have bounced around and hit all of his minions. Yep, there's a gold key. Danis was the one, so that key opens this door. And there's the planar eye we were looking for. Nice quick run. Didn't really have to fight much. Also, the end chest in this quest doesn't appear until the dialogue. Until after the dialogue, and then it's sometimes hard to see because of the shimmering light that the eye gives off. So don't leave without your chest. And there's the chest right there. Just run around looking for sparkly clues. And then knowing where, where each boss is, they're always in the same place. All right, let's do Seizing the Dawn. And let's see. See, maybe I didn't even get Reaper for that last one. I'm not seeing a Reaper XP report. I thought there was over 10 kills there. I know, might have only been 9 kills. I was thinking about maybe doing this one on R4 just to kind of compare performance a little bit, speed, and Reaper XP. But we can always look at the Reaper XP we get for the last one. They should all be about the same. And you do whatever difficulty is comfortable for you. If I was in a group, I would definitely do R4 for like this level stuff. In heroics, I just don't find it's worth stepping it up any beyond that, because then you're dealing with Vengeance Reapers, and the small amount of Reaper XP you get for stepping it up in heroics just to me isn't worth dealing with that stuff. If you like the challenge, that's great. You do whatever difficulty is comfortable for you, whatever difficulty is fun for you. But if I were soloing, I would just do this on R1. But I'm just doing it on R4 just for posterity. As you can see, it's no problem. But again, with all all the past lives and Reaper points, that's aiding my survivability a ton. Especially during heroics. All right, I'm going to switch to chain shape here because that way it'll bounce between all those guys. See that? Instead of walking up to him and bursting that guy and then going to the next guy and bursting him, just chain shape him, baby. In this one, we're just looking for crests. All right, you saw me already pick up one. There can be one down below. I'm using backspace to search it out. I know that there can be one up there as well. I could search it out from here, but I'll show you where it can be. If you're a little bit newer, you might not have known to look for that ladder in the wall there, but it would be right up there, and it's not there. And I'm not seeing it, not picking it up down below, so we'll just keep moving. Those crests are going to be put into the sockets over here at that puzzle to allow us to manipulate the puzzle, which will open up the way to the temple, the end fight. There's always going to be a crest down here. The crests can be in a variety of locations. They're fixed locations. But not always in the same location. So I know, for example, like I showed you, that there, there's a place back, a couple places back there it could have been, and this is another place that a crest can be, and there's one. There will always be a crest in the water here. The water elemental. It's a Skyborn, so I'll give it the old tentacles treatment to help with DPS. I'll need some nasty Skyborn champ beating on me for extra long. Now I'm going to get this collectible and crest. So now we have 3 crests. And there can be a crest over here. You can actually search it out before you get around the corner. It would just be in the back there. Use web or tentacles. As crowd control. Tentacles is more than crowd control, though. It's also DPS. And if you want, there's an optional area through there. Nothing exciting. There's kind of a cool blue dragon optional, though. Just, it's cool to see it. There's not really an exciting reason to do it other than a little extra XP and for sake of adventure. Plague Reaper. I really wish they would change it so that the Plague Reaper curse did not look like a regular curse. You know, they just need to change the color. You know, change it to, you know, pink or something so that people don't confuse that with regular curses and think that, you know, they need to drink a curse pot to get rid of it. The optional to go to the dragon is actually down below here. There's a little cave you can go into. Do chain shape on the Fear Reaper, and the chain shape will bounce off the Fear and hit both of those archers. Oh yeah. And you can burst and blast. It's just that when you're in blasting stance, you don't have your aura on. And the aura is a big layer of defense, and the aura also damages mobs. Seeing a crest. There's an adventure pack. Okay, so the optional for the dragon, I haven't done it in a while, is actually right through there. There's like a little cave opening right there, and there's a network of caverns back there. It's kind of cool. Recommend doing it just to see it. There's a barrier underwater in the Blue Dragon's cavern, but there's no way to bring it down. You know, at first we thought maybe there was some secret there or something, you know, some way to open the barrier, but there's not. So I'm a little bit at a loss here because I thought that I have checked every place where there can be crests, and I've only found 3. So did I miss someplace? Look down there, but let's be a little more thorough. I thought that might have been a secret passage too. See how that wall disappears? I don't even remember what that lever does. But that's just a display bug. Okay, I just missed this one earlier. So these puzzles, and I'm not real good at them, when you hit the thing, it makes like one go up and one go down or something, and you got to get them like all even in the middle. Hey, I got lucky. The solution's on the wiki. So that's going to open on... That's going to open up the end fight, which we were already at the entrance to it. I went the wrong... Oh, no, I didn't go the wrong way. Right here is the temple entrance. If you want, you can just run past these mobs and go right into the end fight. The danger of doing that, though, is you could spike a dungeon alert. Also, if you have Reapers, that can make things a little bit complicated. If they're teleporty Reapers, just be aware there's a shrine through there, if you like. If they're teleporty Reapers, they will teleport into the end fight. So you're going to want to be real careful. Like if it's like a Vengeance Reaper, you don't need some Vengeance Reaper in an end fight, especially an end fight like this, which is just a small room. There's not a lot of room. Speaking of teleporty Reapers, I didn't even see him. You'd have to get, you know, the Vengeance Reaper in one corner and the boss in the other for it to be safe to kill. Hit my spell power boost, give me old Black Tentacles treatment. And you know what I'm going to do because I'm lazy? I'm going to put it on single target blast and just put it on auto attack and just have a sip of water. I talked earlier in the series about how single target DPS is a traditional criticism of the Enlightened Spirit, and about how like I have slow boss DPS, and this is an example of it. You know, and when you get into epics, it's even slower. You know, we up to this point fighting the mobs was fairly quick, but the boss DPS, as you can see, is pretty slow. But I know that I have enough defenses that I can just put it on auto attack and just sit here, and if I need to, I can hit Shining Through. Got the eye to finish the quest. All right, now we're going to do the final one, Beautiful Nightmares. A pretty cool quest. Pretty confusing when you're new to it. Let's just do our one. We'll compare the Reaper XP. So the last one, looking at my log, I've got 934 Reaper XP for that. Whoop-de-doo. I get 9,000 Reaper XP for the quest that I do at endgame. I do have a full tutorial up for this one, but, you know, we're basically going to be doing it right now. You can click on this thing to get a long-term jump and feather fall buff. This quest is kind of like Through a Mirror Darkly or Inferno of the Damned, where it's like you're constantly flipping back and forth between two sides of the map. And I'm actually going to show you, I learned a little shortcut. Here, we're going to hit a corner one to toggle the center and these three, and now an edge one, and another edge one, and another edge one, and boom, the puzzle is solved, and we can continue. So, since I did that tutorial of this quest, I learned how to avoid one more fight, and I will specifically point out that spot and how the pathing is just slightly different to avoid another fight. This quest is a little awkward, okay? The timing of it makes you, you know, like I have the DM audio off, so I'm not even paying attention to the DM audio, but there are times in which you just have to wait for it. Like you hear, you're like, oh, is there anything to do? It seems like it's blocked. You just have to wait for these guys to spawn. So that wasn't too long of a wait, but there are other places where it is kind of a long wait, and it's like you're not sure if you're where you're supposed to be. And I'll point out those places. Because I know when I was new to this one was hella confusing. But once you learn it, you realize it's way more linear than you think. Now, this floor is going to drop out. If there's multiple people here, only one person needs to drop to the bottom. See, there's an invisible wall preventing me from just getting on that. But once somebody hits the floor, somebody else can just like jump over and hit the valve that they need to hit, which unlocks this valve here and activates an air jet that can blow people up. It'll also there's a tall ladder that will bring down. There are respawns in here. I'm not going to worry about trying to kill all this stuff. We're just going to get to the top. Fear Reapers in this chamber are especially deadly because, you know, a lot of times you don't notice them, you know, because they're on some platform above you. And then, you know, you don't notice until you got 5 stacks, and then you're looking around for it. By the time you find it, you got 8 stacks, and it's hard to recover from that. That's the valve you got to pull. That unlocks that valve down there that people can hit, and it'll make an air jet to blow them up here. But like I said, when you first come in here, if just one person comes in here, and that's the door we came through, if they fall to the bottom, then the next person can actually just like jump all the way over there to that valve. All right, so now we're back up at the top. Where do we go? Well, we can't go that way and that way. It's blocked. That's the way we came. So this is the only way to go. Isn't optional to talk to all the animals. If you want to, you just get a lot of extra XP out of it. Shrine there if you want it. A little kitty on the sofa there. I'm going straight across here. We already came through here. This was the start. Remember, we came through here. We clicked on that fountain. Now we're crossing the path. That right there you want to look out for on the other side. This is an easy thing to miss when you're new, and I will show you exactly why it's so easy to miss. It's just the angle in which you view it. If you're approaching from a certain angle, you don't even see that there's a door there. And this door is clutch to advancing through the quest properly. Otherwise, you're just going to keep running around wondering where the hell to go. So you come through here like this. Oh, I got to kill these mobs first. Big Reaper. We'll give him the old tentacles treatment. Okay. So you're coming through here, right? And you're like, derp. Oh, I guess this is the way that I gotta go. Huh? No. Seems like it. And then you're like, okay, where the hell do I go from here? But that's not where you need to go. See, there's a door right there, but you come through here and you don't even see it because the pillar's hiding it, right? So if you just run through here quickly, you totally miss this door, but this door is clutch. Don't miss it. You climb up here. And you know what sucks is, you know, people get hella lost in here, and the map is just useless because it's a multi-tiered thing. You know, a 3D map and a 2D space. And so, you know, like I remember doing this a few weeks ago. I'm at the end fight, you know, and there's nothing I can do to try to like explain to people where to go. The map is just useless. Okay, so we are going to actually go through here. Let's see. There is a crest right here. Okay, this is where the path diverges from when I did the walkthrough. I didn't have to do any fighting to get that crest. Okay. The crests, there's 2 crests we're looking for that door right back there. They're always in the same place. In fact, I thought I looked for the one when I was on the other side and I didn't see it. So what's going on? Should be crest right over here. Oh, I just missed it. Yeah. Okay, so anyways, when I did the walkthrough, I grabbed this crest and I went that way. So you can go this way, and then there's an altar, and double back and pick up that crest on the other side, the crest that I just picked up before this one. But when you go through here, there's an extra fight. And by doing it the way that I just showed you, you can avoid a fight. This is a very slight difference in the pathing to avoid one fight. No big whoop. We're going to go to that crest door. That's the end. Not accessible yet. That's the main shaft. If you want, you can open that door. And this door wasn't, you couldn't open it from the other side, so it can let people through. If they're coming from that side, we're going to go over here. And to access the end fight, we either have to, there's a fight we can do, or there's a puzzle we can do. And this is another point where you can get confused when you're new to it. Because you come through here, right? And you're like, where do I go? I can't go that way. Can't go that way. I guess I have to go this way. And, you know, then you come out to the main shaft. And you're like, what the hell? I'm going in circles here. There's the well, I guess it's not the main shaft, but you're like, where the hell am I supposed to go? But in actuality, those vine walls just take about 10 seconds to disappear. When we first came through here, there were vine walls covering these two ways. You just have to know that you got to wait for them to disappear. So there's a fight you can do that way, or there's a puzzle you can do this way. I prefer to do the puzzle because there's no fighting. Every time there's a fight, when you're doing Reaper mode, every time there's a fight, that's just, you know, more variables to deal with. Potentially more Reapers. You just never know when it's going to be some nasty Doom Reaper or a whole bunch of Reapers or something. You know what I mean? I don't need that headache. Do a puzzle. Okay, now we can go to the end fight. Shrine if you want to. And this is another awkward pause right here. I remember when we did this, you know, at first I thought like maybe we all had to be in the circle. You know, maybe we had to gather because I'm like, what? Nothing's happening. You just got to wait for the dialogue. And it's like a minute. Here's the eye we're looking for. We'll be teleporting to the other side. There'll be a fight, and then it'll teleport us back to get the eye. So we got 900 and I think 34 Reaper XP for that last one, right? Let me scroll up here. You can't see it because it's hidden behind my chat cover, but let's see here. So much dialogue. 934, yep. Right, finally ported us. So I'm just gonna do chain shape because it'll bounce and hit. I'm just gonna do the boss. It'll bounce off the boss and hit everything else. Alright, now that the boss is dead, I'm going to go to focus. Just turn on auto attack. Hit my shining through, give me some temporary hit points. Gonna be more elementals. I'm gonna switch from focus to chain. Oh, there's gonna be another round of elementals. Maybe that's just in legendary. All right, and that's that. Just gotta wait for the dialogue before you can grab the eye. And that's Beautiful Nightmares. And that's Peril of Planar Eyes. 515, so about 400 more Reaper XP doing it on R4 versus R1. What does that amount to, you know, if we did them all on R4? You know, sometimes I'll start stepping it up to R4 once I get to 12, because by 12 I have tier 5 enhancements. You know, it adds up to like, you know, maybe like 30-ish thousand more Reaper XP from the 12 to 30, maybe 30 even to 40 or 50. So, you know, if I'm doing it in a group, if I'm doing it solo, I'm typically just going to do R1 because it could just slow me down a little bit. And I know that the Reaper XP that's available at endgame is just gigantic compared to what I get during heroics. I tend to get about 1 million Reaper XP per life. 85 to 90% of that is during legendaries. We'll be talking more about that when we get there. Okay, that's it for this episode. Thanks for watching. Any questions, you can make a comment to this video. You can respond to my build post in the Warlock forum, or you can stop by the Twitch live stream. We'll see you soon.